Hello friends, today I'm going to cover the top 10 .NET interview questions that are most likely to be asked from a candidate who has experience from 0 to 2 years. If you are new to .NET, then don't miss it, and if you are experienced, then revise these questions at least one time, because sometimes we know only half or even sometimes incorrect information. Hey, my name is Happy and I help candidates in cracking interviews. So let's start with the first question.
And yes, for a real interview experience, first hear the question, pause the video, then think about your own answer, then play my answer and compare it with yours.
What is OOPS? What are the main concepts of OOPS? This is a very important question. OOPS is nothing but a collection of few concepts. Let's see all the concepts. Here are the main concepts of OOPS which every programmer must know: objects, classes, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. When anyone will ask you the four pillars of OOPS, then they are inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation only. Now, if you see the diagram here, object is the first concept of OOPS. Therefore, OOPS stands for object-oriented programming, which means it is a way to create software around objects. And using all these concepts, OOPS provide a clear and clean structure for the softwares and web applications. What are the advantages of OOPS? When we say what are the advantages of OOPS, that means we are talking about the advantages of encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Now let's quickly see what are the advantages. First is reuse of code through inheritance. For example, you can create one method in base class and then use that method in multiple derived class without even rewriting them. So this is reuse, right? You are reusing the code, and that is why the inheritance. Second advantage is OOPS gives flexibility through polymorphism. For example, same name methods can do different things via overloading or overriding. For example, if you have one method run, then run you can use for the computers and you can use for the business also. So you can run the business, you can run the computer, right? So same name but different functionality. That is polymorphism. Third advantage is the principle of data hiding or encapsulations provides you the security, right? So OOPS provides to build secure programs, meaning your field or data are not accessible directly. Data is accessible via property only. So that is one advantage of OOPS, which I will explain in detail in upcoming videos also. Next advantage of OOPS is OOPS systems can be easily upgraded from small to large system. This means if you follow OOPS, then you can add more and more functionalities in your application easily in future, which is good for enterprise level application. Maybe your application is small now, but it can accommodate any number of changes in future if you are following the OOPS concepts. Last advantage is modularity for easier troubleshooting. This means if you divide your application into separate classes, then you will easily identify in which class you have to look for a particular defect or functionality. In the interviews, you can simply tell 3 to 4 advantages out of these, and that will, I think, is done and great. Alright friends, before moving to the next question, if you have not yet accepted the Never Give Up challenge, then accept it. Promise yourself you will never give up until you crack the interview. Start and accept this challenge by writing Never Give Up in the comments right now and feel the confidence. What are classes and objects in C#? First, what is class? Let's see the code of a very basic class with all its members, all class members. See, employee is a class here and here are all the members of the class. So what is a class? A class is a logical unit or blueprint that contains fields, methods and properties. Why logical unit or blueprint? Because class does not do anything by itself. You have to create its object to use it. For example, here employee is just a logical unit. But me, happy, or anyone like you are the real employees. So you are the instance or objects and we do things as per our employee class behavior. So that's why classes are blueprints only and objects are the real things which exist in memory. Now let's see some basic details about the important members of a class. Later we will cover them in detail in separate questions also, okay? So first class member is constructor, which name is similar to the class. See, it is employee here, right? Then we have so constructor is a method in the class which gets executed when a class object is created. So whenever you will create the object of this employee class, the code inside this constructor will automatically execute. Now we will cover constructor in detail in upcoming videos, okay? Second class member is field, which is experience here. A field is a variable of any type. Here the type is integer, or you can say field stores that data in your application. Okay. So field is basically data. Next class member is property. A property is a member that provides help in read and writing the private fields. Why we need property when we already have field? That's because of encapsulation, and that we will cover in detail in upcoming videos. Next important class member is method, which is calculate salary here and which will calculate the salary of the employee. The most important method for every employee, I think, right? Now, if method is a block that contains a series of statements, or you can say all the business logic of your application will be placed inside the methods only. Remember, properties are also special kinds of methods only, but properties only get and set fields. Therefore, it is convenient to keep them separate from normal methods. So this is a normal class we have in all our applications. Now the question is, how can we use this class in our application? And as I said earlier, this class in itself is doing nothing because class is just a blueprint. It cannot do anything by itself. In order to use this class, we have to create the object of this class. Now like this, see here we are creating the object of the employee class. This obj employee is the object. It can be me or you, any employee, right? And then we are setting the property experience like my experience, and finally calling the calculate salary method like my salary it will be calculating. Okay, so the definition is an object is an instance of a class. I hope now you are clear what is a class, what is the object, and what is the difference between class and object. Here is a very good question. What is inheritance? When to use inheritance? As always, let's see the code example first. Here, employee is a parent class, okay? Remember, base class, parent class, and super class are same things. Do not get confused by their different names, okay? Then we have this permanent employee class, which is a child class. Again, derived, child, and subclasses are same things. Now notice that permanent employee class do not have any method or property inside it. But still, when we will create the object of the permanent employee class inside this main method here permanent employee object is automatically getting this calculate salary method and it is not giving error. So it is saying that calculate salary method is the part of this permanent employee class object. So how is it possible? That is possible because of inheritance. Because calculate salary is there in the employee class and employee class is the parent class of permanent employee class, right? So that is inheritance. Even though permanent employee do not have any method, but it will get the method from its parent employee class and use it. So the definition is, inheritance is creating a parent-child relationship between two classes where child class will automatically get the properties and methods of the parent. Now the next part is why inheritance is an important concept in software applications. The answer is simple. Inheritance is good for reusability and abstraction of code. For example, suppose if tomorrow you get a new type of employee and that is contract employee, then you can again derive from the same base class employee for getting the base class methods and properties. So you are basically at the same place with one piece of code, you are using it at two places, two derived classes. If you will not use inheritance, then you have to remove this base class. If you are not using this employee base class, then what will happen? You have to write all these methods and properties inside both permanent employee and contract employee class, which is basically like a duplication of code only, right? So basically we are reusing one method at two places by using the inheritance concept. This is the main advantage of inheritance which you can use in your application. What are the different type of inheritance? This is a very important question from interview point of view. So let's explore this and compare them side by side. First type of inheritance is single inheritance. You can see this is the simplest one base class and one child class only. See, this is the code. Here we have one base class which is derived in one derived class. Very simple, no explanation needed, right? Second type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. This inheritance is very important because many questions are asked about this multiple inheritance. In this case, multiple base classes will be there. Now remember, in C#, multiple inheritance is not possible. One derived class cannot have multiple base classes. Okay, this is not possible. But yes, there is an alternative way. The alternative way is you can use multiple interfaces to achieve multiple inheritance. Okay, which means only one base class or abstract class is allowed and rest must be like interfaces, like multiple interfaces you can use. See the code here, we have one base class and one interface. And in derived, it has two parents. One is base class 2 and another one is interface I2. If I will replace I2 with some other base class, it is not possible. Okay. But if I will add more interfaces like I3, I4, then it is completely fine. So this is the multiple inheritance explanation. Next type of inheritance we have is multi-level inheritance. Here one derived class is derived from the base class, okay? And then this derived class is the parent of another derived class like this. Let me show you the code example if you are not clear. See, it's very simple. We have one base class 3 which is derived in a derived class 3, and then this derived class 3 is the parent of derived class 4. So at the end, the derived class 4 will automatically get the properties and methods of both base class 3 and derived class 3. Okay, this is like a father is getting money from grandfather and son is getting money from both father and grandfather. Okay, so this is like a grandfather, father and son kind of relationship. Okay. Now the last one is hierarchical inheritance. In this one, base class is derived from more than one, one base class, sorry, is derived in more than one child class. See the code, base 4 is derived in derived class 5 and also in derived class 6. Now this is the most used type of inheritance because normally in projects we have one base class and multiple derived class. So this hierarchical inheritance we normally use in multiple projects, in many projects. Okay. Now again, just a reminder, base, parent and superclass are same and child, derived and subclasses are same. The name is different, but the thing is same. So these are the different types of inheritance which are asked in many interviews, and these are we have in our C# programming. Hi friends, just a small notification. This video is part of my full course top 500 .NET interview questions, which includes topic like .NET Core, Web API, SQL, Solid Principle, etc. All questions PDF book link is also present below in the description. So like these candidates, if you don't want to miss anything for your interviews, then try it. Otherwise, no problem. Let's continue. What is method overloading? In how many ways a method can be overloaded? Let's see the code first. See, here we have four kinds of add methods inside the same class method overloading. Now, as you can see in method overloading, this method name is same but they do different things. So the definition is, method overloading is a type of polymorphism in which we can create multiple methods of the same name in the same class and all the methods work in different ways. Now the second part of the question is in how many ways a method can be overloaded. So method overloading can be done in three ways. See here we have four methods add with the same name, right? But there are three ways by which we can identify that these methods are different. So what are those ways? First way is number of parameters are different in same name methods. See, in first and second add method, the name is same, but the number of parameters are different. First have two parameters and second have three parameters. This is one way, okay? In second way of method overloading, data type of parameters are different. See, second method have all integer parameters and third method have parameters of double type. So this is second way of identifying that these two methods are overloaded. Third and the last type is the order of parameters are different. See, the last two methods have same parameters but different order. Here we have double int, and here we have double int double, different order. So these are the three different ways to do method overloading. I hope all the ways are clear to you now. Here is a very interesting question. What is the difference between method overriding and method hiding? We already compared overriding and overloading, and this is like the next level comparison. Let's see the code of overriding. Here we are overriding the greetings methods in the derived class. Now when we create the object of the derived class, then derived class method will be called, right? But sometimes we have to declare the object as base class and then create the object of the derived class like this. For example, let me tell you a scenario. Suppose we have one base class and 10 derived class, okay? Then we will just declare the obj derived variable as a base class, and then we will write the condition like, if this condition is true, obj derived equal to new derived class 1. Else if this condition, obj derived equal to new derived class 2. So similarly, like so on and so on. So in those kind of scenarios, if you will call this greetings method, then it will call derived class method because this is expected from overriding, right? This is overriding to override the base class method. Now what is method hiding? In method hiding, you can completely hide the implementation of the methods of the base class from the derived class using the new keyword. Now let me show you the code. If you see, it is the same as overriding code, except the only difference is we have not used virtual and override keyword here. Rather, a new keyword is present in the derived class method. It is not override, it is new keyword. Rest of the things are like almost same. Now this new keyword will, what it will do, it will completely give a new meaning to this greetings method. That means now this greetings method has no connection or relation with the base class greetings methods. In other words, in overriding you are overriding the method, but here in method hiding you are completely redefining the method. It is like completely a new method. And if you perform the same thing here, like creating the variable of the base class, then it will execute the base class method because the object is declared of base class. So it will execute the base class method. The conclusion is, in overriding, we override the method by using the virtual and override keyword. But in method hiding, we completely redefine the method with new keyword. So even the .NET compiler will think it as a completely new method. It will not think that it is a overridden version of the base class method. Got it? Now we are going to cover the most important question of any interview. In my experience, this is the most asked question in the interviews. What is the difference between an abstract class and an interface? At least four. Why four? Because this is a very important question and it is good to create a good impression on interviewer by telling as much as you can. So let's explore the differences one by one. First difference is abstract class contains both declaration and definition of methods. Let me show you the code. See, employee class has two methods, project and role. One is declared and another is defined with the body. On the other hand, interface should contain only declaration of methods. Let me show you the code. See, here we have two methods, project and manager 1, and both are just declared. There is no body of these methods. Now, there is one very interesting point here. As per the latest versions of C Sharp, now C Sharp allows you to define the body of the interface methods also. So method body is possible in interfaces. But why Microsoft allowed definition or body for methods in the interfaces? The reason, suppose you have a very big project employee management system. Initially you created this iEmployee interface there with the declared method. But after 1 year you realize that this manager one is a concrete method now. Okay, its implementation is common. Now what to do? If you will change this interface to abstract class, then a lot of code change will be required in your big project, right? And that will lead to errors also. Therefore, Microsoft allowed method bodies inside the interfaces also. Then you can just define the method here. But remember, when you are creating the projects from scratch, never use method bodies inside interfaces. Interfaces are for declaration only. If method body is required, rather use abstract classes. That's why I have explained interface should contain declaration of methods only, right? That is the first difference. Second difference is quite obvious and easy. Abstract classes uses abstract keyword and interfaces uses interface keyword. Now, one very important difference is abstract class does not support multiple inheritance in C Sharp, whereas interface support multiple inheritance. Okay, let me show you the same in code. See, when we are trying multiple inheritance via abstract class, then here at the bottom is this error. When we are deriving from multiple classes, employee and employee 1 in the derived class permanent employee, where as if I show you the code, like it is giving error, right? It is showing the error, compile time error. But in case of interfaces, if I will show you, there is no error. It is working fine with multiple interfaces, I employee 1 and I employee 2. One last difference is abstract classes can have constructors. See, we have constructor employee 1 in abstract class, but interfaces do not have constructors. See, employee 1 constructor is giving error. It's a compile time error. It is not possible. So here is the summary list of all the differences which we have discussed. Please try to memorize at least 3 of them and one difference, because one difference is not sufficient in interviews. Here is a very good question about strings. What is the difference between a string and a string builder? When to use what? Let's see the example first. Here we have one string str1 and then we are manipulating str1 and adding some more string to it, right? Now from outside it looks like str1 is the same variable and only the value has been changed. But here is the catch. First str1 was a different string and this new str1 is a completely different string in memory. So both these strings are different and occupy different memories in memory. Okay, so basically this is immutable. Immutable means a thing which cannot be changed after it is created. So when we try to change this string, it is not changed. Instead, it is creating a new string, right? So the short answer is string is immutable in C sharp. Okay. Now every time you will assign some value to a string, it is basically creating the new string. Now let's see the string builder. So here is the example. See here, str2 is a string builder object. Now if I will append some value in it, then in the memory no new string will be created. Rather, only the first value, the first string is updated, modified, the same string. So we have only one string in the memory and we can keep changing it with the help of the string builder. So the short answer is string builder is mutable in C sharp. That means if any manipulation will be done on the string, then it will not create a new instance every time. I hope now the difference is clear. How to implement exception handling in C sharp? Exception handling in object-oriented programming is used to manage errors. Here you can see keywords try, catch, and finally. A try block is a block of code inside which any error can occur. Okay. Now when any error will occur in try block, then it is passed to catch block to handle it. In real applications, if any error in try block, then inside the catch block, we write the exception in the logs files, okay? So that later developers can see that log files and can fix that error. At last, finally block is used to execute a given set of a statement, whether an exception or error occur or not. For example, in this case, you see finally is printed even we got the error by dividing 0 by 0. If no error, then still the finally will be printed. That is the use of finally. What is a constructor? When to use constructor in real application? Here is the class and this is the constructor. So whenever you create the object of this employee class like this, then constructor will be automatically called and the statements inside it will execute. See, this is the output in our case. So the definition is a constructor is a specialized method in the class which gets executed when a class object is created. Second point is constructor name will same as of class name only. The name must be same because if you will put a different name, then compiler will consider it some other normal method, not the constructor, okay? And the third point is a constructor is used to set the default values for the class. These are some simple points about the constructor which you have to remember. What are the types of constructor? Here are the types of constructor. Default constructor, parameterized constructor, copy constructor, static constructor, and private constructor. I will explain them in videos one by one. This is a good question from interview perspective and asked in many interviews. What is the purpose of using keyword in C sharp? So basically we have two types of using keywords in C sharp. First one is very simple and you already know it, okay? That is using directive. But mostly interviewers are interested in second purpose, which is using a statement. But you have to tell them both so that you know it will give an impression to interviewer that you know something extra. Okay. So basically the using statement, what it is, it ensures that dispose method of the class object is called even if an exception occurs. Okay. So it is mostly used when you are creating database connection. Okay, so let me show you the same example here. See the code here. Here we are creating the database connection by using statement. In normal case, if you don't use using statement, then what you will do? You will open the connection and after all the necessary commands execution, you will close the database connection by calling this connection.dispose method. This is okay approach, but for some reasons might be any exception or any error will occur before dispose method call here. Then what will happen? The connection will remain open, right? And it will not be disposed. That is not good, right? Another problem is might be you forgot to write this dispose method call here. The developer forget it. Okay. Again, the connection remain opened. Now, to solve this problem, we use using a statement. Here by using, we are creating the connection inside the using statement and doing all the steps inside the curly braces of using statement. It means that if any error will occur at any line inside these curly braces, then the dispose method of this connection class will automatically be called. There is no need to write this connection dot dispose method like this. So this is the purpose of using statement. Using statement will call the dispose method automatically at the end of using block. Now remember one thing, this using statement will call the dispose method of managed classes only. Managed classes, what are managed classes? Managed classes are those classes which implement iDisposable interface in .NET. Let me show you, like this is the SQL connection class. Okay, this is a managed class. So if you will right click and go to this definition, go to the definition of this class in Visual Studio, then SQL connection is inherited from DB connection class. And if you right click the DB connection and go to its definition, then DB connection is inherited from iDisposable interface, and that is what is required to use using statement with any class. That class must be inherited from iDisposable inheritance. Oh, sorry, interface. So that is the answer of this question. I hope you get it right. What are the types of joins in SQL Server? This is a very important question, and almost asked in all interviews for basic interviews. Okay, so first of all, outer join, we have three types of outer join. First one is left outer join. A left join returns all the rows from the left table and along with the matching rows from the right table. See in the diagram here, all the rows from the left table A will be there, right? But yes, the columns you can choose from both and A and B table. You can list this in the select column names list. Okay. Next is right join. A right join returns all the rows from the right table along with any matching rows from the left table, just opposite to the left outer join only. The third one is full outer join. A full outer join returns all the rows from both the left and right tables in the join. That's it. Then these are the three types of outer join. Now the most important and the most used one is, yes, it is inner join. An inner join returns only the common rows from both the tables and that meet the join condition. You can also see this query for this inner join and all these joins. It is pretty simple and straightforward. Based on your requirement, what kind of result, the final result you want, you can use the types of join in your queries. What is the difference between stored procedures and functions? At least three. Undoubtedly, this is the most important questions in SQL. Make sure that you can remember at least three differences. So let's start. See, this is a basic and simple stored procedure here, which is having one in parameter and one output parameter. Okay. Then inside we are inserting the data in the table employee. And down here is a basic function. See, it has only input parameters and always returning some value here. Now let's see the differences between them one by one. First difference is SP may or may not return a value, but functions must return a value. See, function always return value, but SP can be used to insert, update or delete data also. It may or may not return. Second difference is SP can have input output parameters both, but function only have input parameters. See, there is output parameter in stored procedure, but no output parameter in function. Next difference is we can call functions inside a SP, but we cannot call SP from a function. Sometimes inside a SP you may need to call a function. For example, I have created a function to split a string based on comma. Okay, so one string I will get and based on the comma I will split that. For that I will create a function. Now function will return the list of the values, like splitted values. That function I can call in many stored procedures. So basically it's like the reusability, but yes, inside the function you cannot call the stored procedure. Okay. Next difference is we cannot embed or use SP in SQL statements like select, insert, update, delete, merge, etc. but yes, we can embed or use them in functions like this. For example, here select star comma dbo.fn country. Here in this SQL statement, fn country is a function here, okay, which is the advantage of function, but like it can be used with the queries also like this. But we cannot write select like this with the stored procedures. Another difference is we can use try catch exception handling inside SPs, but we cannot use try catch inside the functions. Then one last difference is we can use transactions inside SPs, but we cannot use transactions inside the function. So that's it. That's are, I think, the enough differences. Please make sure to remember at least 3 of them, whichever 3 I think whichever you think is clear to you. Okay. Congratulations for completing all the questions. As I always said, most students study to just learn. But you don't have to just learn, you also have to crack the interview. And facing interviews need courage. For that courage and spirit, all the best from my side. And yes, if you have not yet accepted the never give up challenge until you crack the interview, then accept the challenge now by writing never give up in the comment section. And yes, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.